Alright, what's going on, guys? It's AJ. We're talking about supply and demand today. So let's get started. Some key terms: we have demand, which is a consumer desire or willingness, if you will, to pay a price for a specific good or service. Supply, which is the total amount of a good or service that's available for purchase, seeing that all other variables are held constant, which holds true to demand as well. We have quantity demanded, the amount that a consumer is willing and able to buy a specific price. We'll find out later that is a point on the demand curve. We have quantity supplied. Again, we'll find out later it's a point on the supply curve, but is defined as the amount that a producer is willing to and able to produce at a specific price. We have the law of supply, which is defined as an increase in price results in an increase in quantity supplied. And we have the law of demand, which is as the price of a good or service increases, consumer demand for the good or service will decrease, and vice versa. Alright, so we got demand, which is a downward sloping demand curve shown here. And we have, again, the law of demand. As price falls, quantity demand will fall, and vice versa. And as you can see here, we have a demand schedule, which is a table that the quantity demanded of goods that shows the quantity demanded of a good at different price levels. So you can see here we have $15 price. One would be demanded, $12, $2, and so on. And the demand curve is simply a graph of the data shown in the demand schedule. So we have this data here represented by the downward sloping curve for the demand here. Continued. Why does the demand curve slope downward? It's due to diminishing marginal utility, which is as more and more of a product is consumed, we tend to get less and less satisfaction or utility of the next unit. So like if you're eating something, you're going to have the next thing you have, you're not going to enjoy as much because you're probably going to get full. It's diminishing marginal utility. Some determinants or changes, things that would change demand. First off, a change in demand results in shifting the entire curve. As you can see here, the entire curve shifts. Factors that would cause this to happen: any change in number of consumers, consumer income, consumer preferences, consumer expectations, substitute or complementary goods, maybe even changes in any of these factors. Again, they result in an entire change. So say the number of consumers increase, maybe a town, just more people move to the town. The demand for the supermarket, for example, in this town, there's going to be higher demand for the food because there's more people. So the entire curve will shift out, as shown here. And this differs to the quantity demanded, which quantity demanded would be a specific amount that would be demanded. So it would be just a point on the demand curve. And a change in quantity demand will just have movement along the curve as opposed to a shift in the curve. Moving on, we have supply, which, contrary to demand, would be an upward sloping curve. Again, the law of supply is an increase in price results in an increase in quantity supplied, vice versa. As you can see here, an increase in price, say from 3 to 6, is an increase from 1 to 2 in quantity. Supply schedule, again, similarly to demand, it's a visual representation of the relationship between price and how much will be supplied. The supply curve, again, is just a representation graphically of the supply schedule. Just like demand, some things can change supply, which again is the entire curve, not just along the curve. Some determinants of this can be taxation or subsidies, technology, prices of other goods, number of sellers, producer expectations, or resource costs. Again, it's along the entire curve will be shifted, not along, because that would be a change in quantity supplied. Market equilibrium. It's where supply and demand the curves will intersect each other, and at the intersection point you will find equilibrium, quantity demanded, and price of the product. And by producing here, you will avoid shortages, such as, say, if you produce here on the supply curve, there's less demand, so you have surplus. Example of this, you could say the gasoline industry. Suppose we have Boots' gas station, and Boots wants to produce at equilibrium price to avoid shortages or surpluses. You can see, so with this created demand and supply schedule from his research, he finds that $9 per gallon he'll find that 3,000 units he will supply. If he supplied 3,000 units, there's going to be 3,000 demanded at this price. So then he's able to produce at equilibrium and avoid any type of shortage. And if you have any other questions, or if I didn't touch up on Savage as much as you like, check out my homeboys, Stephen Ref and Dick Brunel, over there at refenomics.com. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.